welcome back. Where
Oh, we
where
look
are we
kind of
looking?
empty. Kind of look kind of empty over
There
there.
we go. Before we get into the real estate, I was just telling Dan that this is the part where you have to take out your Kleenex. That I'm really impressed with him. I haven't known him all that long, but he is just such a genuine kind of guy, and our ethics are a lot the same in family values and how much we love our kids. And I told him I don't know too many men that just go on and on about their kids, and I meant it in a good way, because really those are the most important things in our lives. And I think to be proud of them, to always congratulate them and make sure that they're on the right path. And as a single mom, you know it's hard. You've got to be the mom and the dad.
Right.
You can't always be the buddy, because that doesn't work. But you've got to stick to your guns and raise those kids, because really in the end we don't have anything else but our kids, you know, carry on our values, hopefully, and what we think is important. So I really like that about you. That's a neat thing.
I think we have a lot in common there, because I was a single dad for a long time,
Yeah.
raising my daughters, and so you have to be, you have to kind of push that side of being the dad, which is difficult, you know, and I had to push the side of giving my daughters the love that they didn't have from a mom.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, their mom was there, but it was a distance thing, you know, and to reassure them. So you have more of an involvement, you know.
Well, absolutely. And like my girlfriend was telling me the other day, Gloria, when I've had it with my kids, and they're 16, I think, and 18, I tell them, you just wait till your dad comes home. Well, I don't have that luxury. You know, I've got to be the mom and the dad. And when I get really angry at Taylor, and that's probably twice a year, instead of insulting him and going on back and forth and doing that horrible thing, I just
Right.
tell him, you know what, I don't want to talk to you right now. Give me a couple of days. That's enough time to kind of cool off. And then I take him to a restaurant. You know why? Because I will not yell in a restaurant. So we can actually sit together, share a meal, and,
That's good. Protecting yourself and
yeah,
him, right?
and iron things out. But you know, sometimes it's no fun, and but you know, you just gotta. You can't ever quit. And that's that. You know, sometimes people treat children like animals. You get tired of a dog you've had, you know, you get rid of it, take it to the pound. Kids are our future, and if you don't do your small part, and also including that is, it takes a village to raise a child. So if you see children lacking from their maybe not so satisfactory family life, if you can, chip in a hand and be a friend there as well.
I think I found that it was easy. You know, you go through a divorce, you go through that
it's so
scenario
ugly.
in life. Well, not only that, you need something to do with that love.
Right.
And so, I focused on my kids, and put that love there, and it made it easier to deal with.
And it certainly
me.
shows, because you're always talking, like I said, everything's so complimentary, and you're so proud of your girls, and that's how it should be. I wish I heard more people talking to me about the good things that their kids do, instead of, oh my God, they were out late, they're getting bad grades in school. Well, yeah, if you keep putting those negative vibes out there, that's what you're going to get back. So my son's a little unusual, but I love him so
Well, you're
much.
very kind. I thank you very much. For
Well, because I you know, I noticed that. I like to see, when I meet people, I like to see what qualities do we have the same. I mean, I have friends that are very religious. I'm spiritual. That's different. And maybe I'm not religious on their level, but we get along just fine.
Sure.
So, but sometimes when you meet somebody like Dan that has, you know, you like to compare yourself, maybe subconsciously, with what another person has in common with you. So I really think we have strong core family values.
I think so, and I feel the very same about you. I
Yeah,
think
because
you
my
feel the same about your son.
well, yeah, and all my kids. It's just my other kids are older and they're off the hill. But so anyway, thank you, Dan, for being one of those sensitive guys that are really a nice guy. You know, not
You're
just.
very kind. Thank you so much.
All right, so now I'm going to put you on the spot. Tell us about real estate. What's going on?
Well, you were gonna quiz me a little bit
yeah,
here,
well,
so
you know what I'm saying?
have at it, girl.
Okay, I'm starting to think. We'll talk about your statistics, but I'm starting to think. Okay, so winter's coming. Snow's. Okay. I want to talk about one other thing before that. I want to sell my house.
Okay.
Now, my house probably needs a lot of work.
Okay.
And you want it to show the best you can naturally. So give me probably 5 things that I can do that don't cost a whole bunch of money that will show my house better. Do you know what I mean?
Eliminate the clutter.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So
Clutter is always a problem because you don't really want the house to look lived in.
Okay.
You know, I mean, seriously.
That lived in, yeah.
There's a problem with that. You know, you come to show a house and there's, you know, there's dishes all over, there's, you know,
Dirty clothes on the
or,
floor,
or,
yeah.
or just that whole lived-in thing. You know, neat the house up a little bit, clean everything up, put things away.
Okay.
You know, so they're out of sight. So that first impression is the most important. Make the outside of the house look good. Because when people drive up and there's things laying all over the yard and all over the place, and, you know, if there's little things that you can do, like deck railing is falling apart, or, you know, just little things that can be screwed back together or nailed back together, those are the important things. It doesn't cost much to have a handyman come to your house and just put a few things back together. Things that are falling down, put them back up, you know.
Right.
It doesn't take that much energy to do. In one day's work, you can take a house that looks like it's completely disintegrating and put it back up to where at least it looks manageable.
Okay.
You know, because that first impression can cause
make or break a deal.
people to either stop and look further, or they're just going to drive right on by. Wow, this is way too much for me to handle, and they move on.
What about painting? Are there any?
If you're broke, okay, if you're flat broke, then try to get a paint that matches the paint of the house anyway, and at least paint the front of the house. I know that's not what you would consider to be the greatest thing to do, but again, we're talking about first impression. So at least do the front of the house, you know, so that it presents well.
Okay.
You know, you may not be able to paint, you know, and you can say, well, I started.
I
ran out of money.
Nice for you.
I'm in this position because I couldn't afford to do the whole
Right.
house, but, you know, at least it presents well.
And what about if you have pets? Because I know most everybody up here has
Clean
pets.
up after your pets.
And keep them some kind
Put
of
them
control.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, the hardest thing, the things that I really get frustrated with when you're dealing with people that have animals is the fact that, you know, well, I want to sell my house, but I have 5 cats, and I keep them all in this room. And you go in the room, and the curtains are torn off the wall, and
The smell is a
the
little less
odor
than
is
fresh.
like
Yes.
beyond belief, and you know, it's just not. It's not going to happen. So you have to realize this is what it's going to take. And I don't have money to replace the carpet, and I don't have money to do this, and I don't have money to do that. Okay, that's all understandable. But don't tell me to sell your house for the maximum dollar.
Right.
Okay, so these are things that you have to give up. There's also ways to do it that you can say, we'll hold things out in escrow.
Right.
Okay, as you experienced before. Okay, so what's it going to cost to replace the carpet? So that amount of money, when you sell the house, will be held out in escrow for others to do.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the deal is the carpet will be replaced.
The negotiations.
It's in the
always
negotiation.
negotiation. What's the worst thing when you go to preview a house and you're going to make an appointment to take some clients and you see it and just think, oh, if they only had done that. I mean, because I'm sure there's simple fixes. Like you said, if things are broken, people understand if you're selling your house and you're in a short sale situation, you don't have the money to fix all these things up. But what's the worst thing that would be an easy fix that you think they should have taken care of that?
It's not even a fix. It's cleanliness.
Yeah.
Cleanliness is the biggest thing to me. Walls that have dirt all over them. I mean, it's a matter of, you know, people that are unemployed. I'm losing my house because I'm unemployed. And then you look around and you kind of go, could you wipe? You know, I mean, you look at it.
There's no excuse for
that. You look
that.
at a light switch and it's got, you know,
Yeah.
6 inches of dirt muck around it, you know, or the countertop is just cluttered with garbage that's been there for a week. You can't live in your depression. You have to,
Right.
if you want to do something and you want to help yourself, help yourself. I'm not saying that you know your situation isn't bad, but you can't make it worse. You can't expect somebody to come in there, and we don't, as agents, we don't want to be rude or crude or
Right.
anything else. There are lists of things that we have that we can say. In order to sell your house for the best that we can do for you, you need to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we can lay out a list for them and say this is what you need to do. But for the most part, you know, for somebody to walk up to your front door and there's blood stains on your door and there's dirt all over the white door and it's completely black with dirt, you know, take a rag and wipe it off. I mean, at least when they stick the key in the door and you look at the door, it's clean.
Right.
You know, these are really important things.
And there's simple things that you can do.
And you've got garbage all over the deck, and they step on the deck, or the steps are coming up. Those are the kind of things that are very easy to repair. I suggest the obvious. Take care of the obvious. That is simple to do. It's going to cost you something, or if you got a neighbor that's a handyman that's willing to help you out, look for those kind of things. There's kids that'll come to your house for virtually nothing and help you.
Yeah.
You know, those are the kind of things that just put me in awe. You know, I've gone to people and said, I'll bring somebody in and I'll help you with these things, and then we'll deal with it in escrow.
Right, because when you have company, if your house isn't in the best condition, they're just company and they're going to sit wherever. But when you have somebody coming to buy your house, they're going to look in all those places when you're not even going to be there, and they're going to be checking things out. And I do have a little kind of funny story. My house is small, so my kitchen and my living room are all one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you walk in the house and you're not looking, you're going to walk right into the stove.
That's right. I've been there.
Yeah, it's kind of small. So anyway, okay, you know, the walls, I've been there for a few years. I haven't really gone all out and cleaned all the walls. But the other day I was putting some Pepsi in the refrigerator and I dropped a can and it went psh. Well, it's all over, you know, the floor, so I cleaned it all up. And yesterday I got up and I looked at the ceiling and I thought, my ceiling is leaking because it's the Coke. It's shot all the way up, so guess who's got to clean? And you can't just clean that one spot. Because if you haven't kept it up, so now I have to clean the whole kitchen, the whole everything, which is a good idea, but that darn Pepsi.
Well, you bring up a good point as well. If there's stains on the ceiling, you know, and stains from leaks that occurred 5 years ago, and you never did the repairs, and the repairs are done, get somebody to come in and use the kill code and repaint that, because when we do what we call an avid, that's a walkthrough, you know, and now you've just created a problem for yourself, because now they're going to question what is the stain, you know, and we're not allowed to say anything other than there's a stain. We can't say it's a water stain or any kind of a leak from the roof or anything like that. We can't pinpoint it. We're not allowed to give advice. We're not allowed to diagnose what the situation is, because you know, we can go to a crack in the concrete up against a sliding glass door, and we can say, oh wow, the concrete's pulling away from the house, just to find out later that the house is literally sliding down the hill, pulling away from the concrete.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't really know, so you can't suggest.
Well,
you can't say,
and you have an inspection done, and a professional will come out and tell you exactly what that is.
Absolutely. So those are really important things. Clutter is really the worst enemy. Between dirt, messiness, and clutter, those are the worst enemy for any sale.
And if you really are intent on moving, if you clean up all that clutter, you're already helping yourself in the moving process.
Exactly.
So, okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Just do things that you can be doing. Don't sit and wait.
Or walk into a room and say, okay, what's the first thing that just sticks out like a sore thumb, and take care of that.
Yeah.
And like you're right, get rid of the clutter, put a vase of flowers, have some fresheners so the house smells nice, and
make an effort.
And like you said, that's a lot of stuff that doesn't cost anything.
Exactly. And it can't be a one-sided thing. It can't be
sell my house. Do it.
And then all of a sudden we get a call, you know, 5 people looked at my house and nobody's made an offer. Duh. I mean, you know.
So see if you have a good agent, they'll guide you and tell you what you can do to help the sale and get the best price you can for your house.
Yeah, and it can't be an offensive thing. It has to be, you know, are you open? I always start with, are you open for suggestions? You know, can this be a two-sided thing? Can we work together on this, you know?
You're very diplomatic that way. Well, you have to be. You can't just say, you're a slob. My God, what do you expect?
Take a look around, you know, and sometimes I put myself in a situation where I'll say, would you pay what you're asking for this house? If you showed up in front, would you pay that amount of money? You know, is this something you would buy at that price? Take a good look at yourself, you know. And I don't take listings for some reasons, for that same reason. I would rather just fess up right now. I'm not the guy that's going to take the listing just because I get a sign in front of the house for advertisement. That's just not what I do.
You have to know that there is a good chance that you're going to be able to get a good amount of money for their house. But like you said, they have to work with you as well.
Exactly.
Oh, that was good, Dan. That was good. So tell us some of your stats, will you?
Well, I don't have stats
that's right, not
today.
stats. You have some
today
information.
We have a little bit of a different thing. As you know, for weeks now, I've been telling people about the short sale situation, foreclosure situation at the end of the year, that the deficiency is not being
we got 2 minutes, so.
Okay. Well, this is only going to take 2 minutes. I'll post this on my website.
Okay.
And the website is exitrealitybigbear.com.
Okay.
You can email me about it at Daniel. What is it? No, Daniel at exitrealitybigbear.com. Or you can call me at 909-878-0522. What it is we now have a call for action that they're asking all the agents to get in touch with Congress. They're finding out here that homeowners shouldn't be forced to pay taxes on money that they've already lost with cash they never received, meaning that
they didn't sell their house.
What is happening is if they short sell a house or foreclosed on a house, whatever the deficiency is, they're going to pay taxes on that.
Right.
All right. 20% of the current homeowners with mortgages owe more on their homes than the current fair market value. Transactions not completed. This is what I've been trying to say, and I feel bad about this because transactions that are not completed by the year's end become taxable in 2013, despite the borrower's release on the tax relief. Now, what they're saying there is if you're already in short sale or you're already going through foreclosure, you are going to go ahead and be taxed on that after December 31st. So that means what they've told you up till this point. It's very difficult to say, do you start a short sale now? Do you go into that short sale knowing that short sales take anywhere from 3 to 5 months? Do you get involved in that? Because you're going to be taxed on it. If this does not happen by the end of the year, you're going to get hit. So you need to. We don't give advice. That's illegal. So that's the disclaimer here. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying you need to talk to your lawyer, your tax consultant, whoever you deal with. You need to find out what is the best thing for you to do.
Okay,
so
you know what? I don't want to cut you off, and we'll talk more about this next week. But this is really important because you just never know when you're going to be on the other end.
And you're not cutting
me
me off. I was done.
Okay. Oh well, I'd like to think I cut you off.
All right, I feel cut off. Way to go, girl.
We thank you for joining us, and don't forget to go vote tomorrow. There's a lot of places in the world that don't have that privilege, so please exercise your right to vote. We'll see you next Monday, and we're on all kinds of times between today and tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Just tune in, and there will be. So thank you for joining us, and we'll have some other guests next Monday.
Good job, girl.